So I was in my Discord server the other night playing some Conan, and one of my patrons, Sin, asked me to check out some ruins and see if I could build something there. The Weeping Ruin is located over in map square G7 just east of Metkamos' Spire. Now I've never built in a ruin before, so I wanted to see if I could take some go at restoring it and make something better out of these tarnished bricks. The Weeping Ruins are pretty small and very boxy, so I knew I didn't just want to build a box here, and ended up building a pretty comfortable base. How? Well, I'm going to show you. Also, if you'd like to join myself, Sin and plenty of other folks, come join us in the Coffee Cult Discord, link is in the description and I hope to see you there. Firstly, the requirements. They're on screen now, and this is a pretty simple design. I chose to use arena, stable and insulated wood with a bit of Khitan, though you could use whatever you want. So, without further ado, let's get started. I started off firstly with a base plate which I built from pillars and ceilings to match the blueprint. I'll admit, this section here may have actually been a mistake, which is a good learning experience. I used pillars and ceilings because I wanted to do, of course, the pillar trick, which turned out to be a pain given the nature of the ruins, but it also resulted in another problem. I had a test build here which I tore down just before building this, and therefore the grass didn't have chance to grow back. However, when I came back to this build a day later to do the thumbnail, I opened the door and the grass had grown straight through the ceilings. Because the ruins are in the way, it was near impossible to fix, so I would actually recommend using foundations here. There aren't many times I'll recommend that, but this is one of those occasions. You will miss out on the corner pillars, but it's either that or have grass poking through the floor. It's possible you could still do the pillar trick and it could be wedged into the landscape of the ruins, but I'd generally say that foundations are a safer bet. I also initially placed wedges on the backside section, but I eventually replaced the wedges with the single tile in the centre that you saw on the blueprint. Next, the first floor walls. I chose arena because it meshes well with the ruins, and I built the walls 2 tiles high. I firstly established a recessed doorway. Now you can't actually place a doorway within a door frame that close to the ruined archway, but by doing this recessed doorway design you kinda get the best of both worlds. I then continued on with the walls, recessing them in by a tile as they transition into the rounded edges. The outer tiles will serve as covering footers, which does reduce the overall interior space of this design, but I do think there's already a good amount of room here. I then walled off those footers alongside the underside of the rear section of the build. On the second tile, I use the real windows trick to build some windows on each rounded side, which helps to break up the monotony of the arena set. I also built up the walls on the rear side 1 tile high and added vaulted ceilings either side of the stair mount for some small storage compartments. I then added the ceilings of the first floor using arena regular, wedge and vaulted ceiling pieces. I connected the ground and the first floor with some pillars to pass some extra stability upwards, alongside Turanian stairs to connect the staircase segment. On the first floor, I brought up the corner pillars and used insulated wooden wall pieces to build up this floor 1 tile high, including roof gables at the front and back. I sectioned off the wedge pieces at either side with stable support struts and built the walls up again. Next, onto the roof. I use Khitan roofing. It's a touch worn but better suits the rustic style that I'm going for here. I built the roof pieces up to a flat strip of arena wedge ceilings, onto which I built a circular cupola in the centre of the roof. I then used flotsam crenellated walls atop that wedge strip, finished off the roofs on the side and added wooden roof pieces to the footers. I then went back up to the cupola and closed it off with Keton wedge roof pieces. I removed the ceilings on the interior and then replaced ceilings beneath the roof tile. I did finish off the back roof too, but that changed during the furnishing phase, so I'll show you that in a moment. Finally, when the shell of the build was done, it was then time to of course furnish. I added some lighting on the exterior, some statues out front, and finished off that back section. I matched it to the blueprint I showed you earlier and added a footer around the bottom, and then blended the roof design into the top roof. Very simple and works much better. Entering the build, I've gone for a rustic and comfortable vibe with a decent mix of practicality and more roleplay focused living areas. The ground floor includes a small workshop area, expansive understairs storage, an alchemy lab, an open hearth for cooking, and a dining area on the west side set up around a fireplace. Going up to the back room, this is sort of a recreation room with seating, instruments, a chessboard, and of course, a glorious toilet. Heading upstairs, the bedroom contains much more storage, alongside a desk and a bed underneath the roof cupola. The tones of the materials here are very oppressive, so I used lots of greenery to try and break that up. Finally, the balcony is pretty simple, looking over the desert and providing some benches and small makeshift tables. And there we have it, the restoration of the Weeping Ruins. Thanks for watching, and of course a massive thanks to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. I've never actually done a ruin restoration before, but this turned out pretty well, so thank you to Sin for suggesting this. Again, feel free to come hang out in our Discord, we jump into voice fairly often and the more the merrier. Again, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.